All right, let's dive into one of the biggest medical stories of our time. We're going to talk about a drug that didn't just fight cancer. It completely rewrote the rulebook on how we even think about fighting it. This is the incredible story of Keytruda.
So just to give you a sense of scale, let's start with this number. In 2023 alone, one single drug, Keytruda, brought in over $25 billion for its maker, Merck. I mean, that is just staggering. It makes it one of the best-selling drugs in history. But, the money isn't the real story here. The science is.
And that really brings us to the big question we're tackling today. How on earth did one drug manage to become this powerful, this revolutionary force in the world of oncology? What is it doing that's so fundamentally different? Well, let's get into it.
To really get what Keytruda is all about, we have to understand what it actually is. And believe me, this isn't a story about sales figures. It's a story about a truly profound scientific breakthrough, one that has saved and extended an incredible number of lives.
Okay, so that sounds complicated, but let's break it down. Keytruda, its scientific name is pembrolizumab, is a very special lab-made protein called a monoclonal antibody. Now, its job isn't to go in and kill cancer cells directly. Instead, think of it as a coach for your own immune system. It's designed to interact with your body's defenses and tell them what to do. And right here, this is the absolute genius of how Keytruda works. The best way, really the simplest way, to think about what it does is that it finds the brakes on your immune system and it takes them off.
You see, for decades, our main weapons against cancer were chemo and radiation, which are basically different ways of poisoning or burning the cancer cells away. But immunotherapy, which was really kicked into high gear by drugs like Keytruda, just completely flipped that idea on its head. The new strategy was, wait a minute, what if we could just get our own immune cells to do the job they were designed for in the first place?
So to get how this works, you have to know about something called an immune checkpoint. Just think of it as a safety switch. Your immune system has these incredibly powerful warrior cells called T cells, and these checkpoints are there to stop them from going wild and attacking your own healthy tissue. It's a critical off switch that keeps everything in balance. Now here's the crazy part, how cancer has learned to exploit this system. It is so sneaky. So first, your T cell does its job. It finds a cancer cell and recognizes it's a threat. But then, the cancer cell pulls a trick. It puts out this molecule called PDL1, which is like a key that fits right into that off switch on the T cell. And just like that, the T cell is deactivated. It just backs off and leaves the cancer alone. This is where Keytruda becomes the hero of the story. It literally gets in the way. It physically blocks that off switch so the cancer cell can't press it. The T cell stays on, it stays active, and it does what it's supposed to do. It attacks and destroys the cancer cell. It's just brilliant.
So now that we see the how, let's talk about the what. Because Keytruda doesn't target one specific kind of tumor, it targets a mechanism. It can be used against a whole range of different cancers. Its versatility is just incredible. And just look at this list, it's amazing. It all started with advanced melanoma, but then the approvals just kept coming. Some of the toughest cancers out there, lung cancer, head and neck, bladder, kidney, and so many others. It's become one of the most broad-spectrum cancer drugs ever made, offering real hope in cases where other treatments just weren't working.
Of course, a cool mechanism is one thing, right? But what really matters is, does it work in actual patients? And the data that came out for Keytruda, well, it was nothing short of a game changer.
The big study that really put Keytruda on the map was called Keynote-006. In this trial, they took patients with advanced melanoma and put Keytruda head-to-head with the drug that was the standard of care at the time, ipilimumab. The results? It wasn't even close. Patients taking Keytruda lived longer, and their cancer was kept from growing for much longer. This wasn't just another option. It was a better one. Period. And for the patients themselves, the treatment is actually pretty straightforward. It's an IV infusion that takes about 30 minutes. You get it every 3 or sometimes even every 6 weeks, which is often way more convenient than older chemo regimens. A patient might be on it for up to 2 years, and doctors just keep a close eye on them because when you wake up the immune system, you have to make sure it doesn't get too revved up. So, let's just zoom out for a second. Because the story of Keytruda is way bigger than just one drug. It's really the story of an entire new field of medicine being born. This was the immuno-oncology revolution. This timeline really shows you just how fast it all happened. The basic science was being worked out back in the 90s, but once Keytruda got that first FDA approval in 2014, the floodgates just burst open. Approval after approval followed. In less than a single decade, it went from being a promising new idea to a global blockbuster that completely changed how we treat cancer. For the doctors and researchers on the front lines, seeing the long-term survival numbers from these trials was the moment they knew. It became obvious this wasn't just a small step forward. This was the beginning of a whole new era in medicine, an era where using our own immune system became a core pillar of cancer treatment.
The success of Keytruda really proves that a single, powerful, elegant idea can literally change the world. And it leaves us with this incredible question to think about. Now that we've learned how to release the brakes on our own immune system, what's next? What other hidden powers are just waiting inside our bodies to be unlocked?